Hey, so let's talk about this week's product of the week, which we are highlighting is protein powder. In case you guys didn't catch any of our smoothie videos, please be on the lookout for all of our fun and insanity on the Facebook page as coaches make smoothies for you live on Facebook. I don't know what he keeps doing. Okay, so we'll talk about the protein powder we carry at FF. So we have two options for protein powder at FF. Our first protein powder is the Aniva brand. So Aniva is based in Minnesota, Plymouth, I believe, right, Trevor?
Aniva, yeah.
And their protein is great price, great taste. It is sourced locally out of Wisconsin, I believe. And there's only like 3 or 4 ingredients on the label. Now, like, kind of the bee's knees. The downfall is they only have vanilla if you are a multi-flavored protein powder buyer. I personally only ever get vanilla anything because I'm lame and boring. The other protein powder that we carry is SFH. They are a grass-fed, grass-finished protein powder as well. They source their cows from New Zealand. This is part of the reason that the price points are variable between these two, because getting stuff from New Zealand to America, not as easy as we'd like it to be. But they do have a variety of flavors. They also have a recover protein along with a fuel one, which is going to be a good post-workout option.
I think it's called Recover. It's Recover.
Okay, thanks.
So, so a lot of people, I think, so it's worth talking about this. All right, so the things Ashley was just explaining to you, they're called whey protein, right? So whey protein is one of the most bioavailable sources of protein on the planet, meaning our body pretty much digests all of it, meaning it uses all the protein that we ingest. So that's why we really like whey. It's typically faster absorbed into the body. And so how do we get whey, right? It starts from milk. Right, it starts with milk, and then we filter milk. We filter the proteins out of milk, and we get casein and whey protein. Casein, it's actually very well utilized, but a lot of people will utilize it like in the evening, or they want to use something overnight because it's really slow digested. It takes a really long time for it to digest, whereas whey is a lot quicker digested. And so we filter out those two types of protein, and that gives us our whey, right? So most people are like, you know, how do I use it? When do I use it? Like, I think about whey protein as like food. That's just like, think about it as food. And so if I'm going to make a shake, or if I want to add more protein to my yogurt, if I want to add more protein to my oatmeal, or if I want to add more protein to my ice cream bars, like whatever you want to add more protein to, like that's what we would use it for. Vanilla.
About you adding protein to your ice cream bars?
I don't know. I just felt like that was good. Probably like a yogurt bar, maybe. Like, you know.
Okay. We're good. Continue.
So think about it as like an addition to just get more protein. So if you're making a shake, we throw protein in to make it, to just give it more protein, right? You could just mix it and drink it as like a supplement in between meals. If you're someone that's just not getting enough protein, or maybe you're an older individual that doesn't digest protein very well, then probably doing an extra shake is probably going to be a good thing for you. So you just make sure that you're getting enough protein throughout the day, because you may not be getting enough with your meals.
I think an important thing to talk about having protein shakes is if you are trying to lose weight and you are having a protein shake every day, and it's not just protein and water or protein and insert beverage that you're going to use that hopefully is water, because we're trying to watch our calorie consumption if we're losing weight. But you're having like a full meal in a shake, and you don't understand why you're not losing weight, is that you are not now having another meal of 300 to 400 or more calories in a protein shake, where it might have just needed to be water and protein. Yes, I know that's not glamorous. I know it doesn't taste that great, but it is something to think about. What is the tool that you're trying to get from this protein? Are you trying to make it a meal or a meal replacement, or are you trying to make it a protein supplement, whereas you wouldn't be adding a ton of things to it?
Right, 100%. And so then the other thing people talk about is, all right, so we carry amino code as well. So that's amino acids. right? It's essential amino acids and it's non-essential amino acids. So with that, or I should say non-essential, branched chain amino acids. And so if we were to, so I was explaining this to Alexis the other day, and I felt like this was a good analogy. So if we think about protein, think about a train, right? Just think about a train. So whey protein is like the train is connected, right? We have all these different train cars, but they're all connected in this really long train, right? So your body has to then break down that train into each individual car, right? And then it will build the things it needs to build, but it has to be digested. So when we think about amino code, that's everything has kind of been pre-digested because it's in the essential amino acid form or in the amino acid form, meaning the train has already been broken apart. And so because the train has already been broken apart, when you ingest it, there's not really a digestion process that takes place. And so it gets into your system much quicker. So that's why we really like amino code or branched chain amino acids, essential amino acids around the workout window, right? Because we can get that stuff in there right now. And there's less GI discomfort for a lot of people with something like a essential amino acid type product versus a whey protein. You may have a little sensitivity to lactose or lactose. And so that may not work well for you. And it's just a lot more substance because your body has to digest it. So when you think about the difference between like an amino code versus a whey protein, at the end of the day, yes, they're both protein and yes, they're both amino acids. One is in more complex form, whey protein. The other one is a more simple form, amino code. So the simple form allows us to digest it a lot quicker. That makes sense?
All I want to do is make Purdue train analogies right now. So like, no, your explanation is great, but I also thought like you could also use like there are essential parts of the train that we have to have, and some of the cars in between that we don't necessarily our body can make, but they're nice to have on the train. I think is another really great way that you can use the train analogy. Like you have to have the engine, you have to have the fuel car, you have to have like these other cars on the train, and those are going to be the essential ones that your body cannot create. And then the other cars in the train are going to be like the branched chain amino acids that we can make from these essential ones, but they still are part of the train, which I thought, so I think your train analogy was super.
Thank you. I was very proud of that one. So to recap, whey protein, think about it as food, right? It's literally food. And so like whenever you need more protein, you do whey protein. I wouldn't put amino code in my shake. Probably not. Maybe I would, but love
Trevor,
it.
You love it so much. I don't think you would do it only because it tastes so good and it's a great way to get some added properties and be drinking water, but have the flavor. So I don't think Trevor would ever be putting amino code in, only on the fact that we drink a lot of water and sometimes it's nice to have something that isn't water.
Right. So that's where amino code, it just tastes really good. And so someone that's also interested in fat loss, they're watching calories, probably choosing something like a essential amino acid like amino code over a whey protein would be beneficial because there's just going to be less calories in it as well. So yeah, so there's your protein lesson for the day. If you guys have any questions,
just so you guys know, we were not going to talk about protein today, but I feel like we can't get through a single thing where we don't talk about protein.
Protein is good for what ails you. All right.